the inflation story was a little inconvenient for what Morning Joe does literally every morning, Monday through Friday on MSNBC, which is serve as operatives for the Democratic Party. And that would require them to pretend like inflation isn't really that big of a deal, isn't really happening, shouldn't focus on it at all. But now that the election's over, all is said and done, did you know that butter's $7? What are they doing? Framing it in gold? This is supposed to be a news show.
Our very soon to be full-fledged MAGA right-wing queen, Anna Kasparian, is going scorched earth against Morning Joe and this MSDNC lies, the lies that they are spewing in support of the Democratic Party. Anna Kasparian calls these MFers out. It's a good one. Let's just get straight into it. By the way, if you want to help the algorithm, comment an orange heart or a MAGA or an American flag, because YouTube likes to censor videos that speak the truth like mine. But anyways, let's get into it. I'll stop rambling now.
Butter is $7?
Yeah.
And by the way, eggs are like 10. It's redonky donk, if I do say so myself.
What?
Some
Is
places.
it framed in gold?
No, Joe, it's not framed in gold. Butter is $7 because it turns out inflation is real. And had he been aware of that, had he actually understood what ordinary Americans were going through, economically speaking, maybe he would be a little more sympathetic toward the electorate in voting against the Biden-Harris, administration in this 2024 presidential election. So anyway, this was on today's installment of Morning Joe. Obviously, Joe Scarborough looked absolutely stunned to find out that inflation has drastically increased the price of groceries, officially making him the last person in America to make that discovery. Now, let's watch the full clip so you can get a sense of how this interaction went down in context.
You look at those numbers where Donald Trump did better in New York and areas around New York. That probably contributed a good deal to it. I want to talk about economy for a second. A few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, somebody who was going to be voting for Kamala Harris came up to me and said, "Oh my God, Trump's going to win." I go, "Why is that?" He goes, I went to the grocery store. Butter's over $3. I kind of laughed and I said,
Is that funny? Like, everyday Americans can't afford this. You know what I'm sick of? We're not even poor. My husband makes great money for the family, but he's always like, or not always, but on occasion when we're going over finances, he's like, why are groceries so expensive every week? Like, we aren't a big eating family. Like, why is it so expensive? Well, you can thank Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. High egg prices, butter prices. I mean, I've learned to make my own butter, so you can do those sort of things, but still, it's redonky-donk. Come on.
said,
That's why we had a red wave. Comment red wave if you agree.
well, that's kind of reductive, isn't it? Said it to myself. To him, I smiled and I said, good point. But it actually, what
$7.
everything we're hearing after the election is,
I'm just
it
saying.
is,
The 7.
what's that?
The $7.
What's that? Butter is $7?
Yeah.
He's so rich and elitist that he has no idea how much his groceries are because it doesn't matter. So why would these like problems that only like us everyday Americans who have to deal with, why should those problems matter to him, who's an elitist? I can't say the word anyways. Let's move on.
What?
Some
Is
places.
it framed in gold?
Yeah, what
Okay.
kind of butter?
Depends on where
Anyway,
you go. But
okay, well, yeah, okay. Well,
$7.
You guys might have missed it, but I want to make sure you know or you caught it. In that last clip we just played, Joe Scarborough was like, everything we're hearing after the election about inflation. How are you just now finding out about inflation? How? How is that possible? Honestly, I don't think I believe him. I don't believe him. Inflation has been a big topic for a few years now. And he's gonna pretend like they didn't know about how serious inflation is until after the election? Is it possible that the inflation story was a little inconvenient for what Morning Joe does literally every morning, Monday through Friday on MSNBC, which is serve as operatives for the Democratic Party? And that would require them to pretend like inflation isn't really that big of a deal, isn't really happening, shouldn't focus on it at all. But now that the election's over, all is said and done, Did you know that butter's $7? What are they doing? Framing it in gold? This is supposed to be a news show. This is supposed to be a morning news show. Okay. Now, since the results of Tuesday night's election, Joe Scarborough has chastised Democrats for focusing too much on Trump bad, stated that they should have focused on illegal immigration, and also criticized their focus on identity politics, things that, maybe he should have been open and honest about before the election took place.
You don't say, Anna. Go off, go off.
Instead of gaslighting the American people on behalf of a failing campaign. But nonetheless, let's take a look at more of what Joe had to say.
Every Democrat that we have ever sat down with dinner with over the past 5 years who have kids.
Like, he is so ugly. Like, his wife is ugly, but he's even uglier. It's gross. By the way, guys, if you like comment with a super chat or become a member, I will 100% respond to your comments. I try my best to respond to as many as I can, but as we're growing the channel, which by the way, I am so thankful that we are growing, videos are doing better, we're increasing our subscriber base, but even though most people who still watch my videos are not yet subscribed, why is that, guys? Subscribe. I post 2 new videos every single day unless I'm traveling, which is very rare. I don't like to leave my house. Anyways, if you definitely want me to see your comment and respond, just send a super chat, or become a member, and I will definitely guarantee that for you. Hello.
That go to colleges say their kids are afraid to speak in class because they'll be canceled. It's having an impact from, again, the trans ad to, the athletics. And by the way, as we've said on the show 1,000 times, Democrats should be smarter on the women's athletics thing. 85% of Americans oppose men transitioning after puberty and competing against women. People need to look back at the campaign, and they certainly should feel free to call out Donald Trump for all the things that he said that were shocking and deeply offensive. But if you're a Democrat right now and think that's going to get you elected 4 years from now, it didn't get you elected a couple of nights ago. There was some reluctance to go there, to talk about the things that were concerning Americans that really mattered this year. Illegal immigration, the mass border crossings. This isn't just about tax cuts. This isn't just about economics. This is about cultural markers that matter greatly in these people's lives.
I know that Joe Scarborough would like us all to memory hole a rant that he went on recently, a rant that I covered here on this show on a Wednesday by myself. Do you guys remember when Joe Scarborough and everyone else on set were attacking journalists for doing honest reporting about Kamala Harris? And in that reporting,
because he's a Kamala Harris DNC operative, and that's why she's calling him out.
They would talk about her flip-flops, like from, being against oil drilling to all of a sudden being in favor of oil drilling. And Joe Scarborough was like, why are journalists doing objective journalism right now? They shouldn't do that because Trump is a special threat. And so reporters shouldn't report anything negative about Kamala Harris. Okay.
And the reason that is, guys, is because if you, Democrats will literally say that Trump is literally Hitler. If you actually think that the next president or someone that could become in control of your country is the next Hitler, if you really believe that, obviously you will do anything you can to stop him. The ends justify the means. That is the way these evil people operate. It's as simple as that. Duh.
They're getting too cutesy with their objective reporting. We don't want that. Reporters and journalists should actually serve as operatives for the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris's campaign. And now all of a sudden, he's totally pretending like he didn't say that. And after Kamala Harris loses the election, he has the audacity to pretend like no one else was talking about all of these critiques. It's just, we were talking about it and we were getting a lot of crap for it from people like Joe Scarborough. Now, he didn't attack us personally, right? But he attacked other reporters, other media figures who just wanted to cover the two campaigns fairly, honestly, accurately.
How dare you, Anna? How dare you?
Because guess what? At the end of the day, neither party really matters. What matters is informing the American voters, ensuring that they have the accurate information necessary to make the right decision for themselves. But that's not what Joe Scarborough believes the role of journalism is in America. In his eyes, and he's not the only one, as the election is ongoing, well, you shut your mouth about the criticism and you be a good cheerleader for the Democratic Party. Otherwise, we don't want to see anything from you.
Precisely, spot on. This might be one of my favorite takes from Anna yet. And I do respect her for that. I totally disagree with her on many things. She's obviously way more progressive than I am. But, you know, it takes some balls, some cojones to speak out against your own party. So good for her. Call out these phonies. And MAGA, if you watched until the end of this video, which, by the way, guys, you guys are my favorite watchers because if you watch the full video, it helps boost the video in the algorithm, and YouTube hates people that speak the truth like myself, so thank you. Comment an orange heart if you're still watching. Subscribe. Thank you. See you guys next time. Bye.